Okay, we have some of our drawings done, and what I'm going to do now is turn them into sprites. So let's start with, oops, just a new layer on top, and I'm using my Wacom tablet, and you can either grab your, grab your drawing, something like this. Or what I like to do is just add a new layer and draw over it. What we're doing is just isolating that that kiwi. We can add a little bit of smoothing in to help with the assistance of the drawing. So let me go in and just outline him. Just want to get the form kind of close to what I want. Okay, so with that, I'm happy with this form, or happy enough with this form. What I'm gonna do is take him, let's just copy, let's go new, and because I have him copied, Photoshop is letting me create a canvas, kiwi, idle, there we go. Paste him, and then let's give him a little space, a little breathing room. Perfect. So from here, we need to make sprites for a couple different animations or actions. So for example, we need to have a sprite for when he's idle, when he's walking, when he's attacking, whatever. Let's grab, so I'm going to start with the idle, and I want to get a brown that I like, and then a yellow, for his beak. I'm just using Magic Wand to select these on the outline layer. Cool. And from here, let's go. I'm going to add one new layer, and we'll call it, let's do a multiply. Let's go a little bit darker. Let's give him some shadow. Maybe there's a little bit of shadow under his beak. Oh, change that up to 100. And then we'll go add some shadow for his legs. So I'm only working within whatever my magic wand selection tool has. That way I don't, it's kind of like a cleaner workspace. Okay, maybe add one more layer. And take our opacity lower on our eraser. Give him like a shiny beak situation. Back to our, make sure we're deselected. Back to our darken, or our darken layer. I'm just gonna add like little like feather texture. I think that should be good. So I'm kind of happy with that. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and select layer, flatten image. Oops, nope. We want to go to layer, merge visible. So we still have that transparent background. And then what we're gonna do is marquee, select everything, Command T, making sure our interpolation is nearest neighbor, and that also, oops, also in Photoshop settings, sorry, preferences, our image interpolation is nearest neighbor, preserve hard edges. Because we're going to be, transforming this into pixel art. So I'm going to make him probably about 50 by 78. Let's press enter. Let's zoom in just a little bit here. Give him a little bit of space. Cool. So here is our first pixel art. From here, what I want to do is like some real quick editing. So let's grab our brush tool. It should be in the pencil format. Go to 1 pixel, eyedrop, grab the black. I'm kind of happy with this. Another thing we could do, let me go backwards. With our line art, we could, select everything, scale it down, I can't remember what we had before. and go from there, which I don't like how that turned out. Oops. Okay, so from here, I guess we'll, you know what, let's merge these. So we have our color layer and our outline layer. I'm going to make sure that my eyes match. Oops. Make sure my opacity is on my eraser fully. So I want my eyes to be the same. Cool. Just minor edits here. Okay. Now, oops, what's my black? I want a black outline on all of these parts. As best as I can. And of course, like, the art style is going to be up to you, how you want your character to look. But from here, Command E, we're making him one layer, color and everything. So what we'll do to make him animated is Command J or Control J, make a copy. And I would just want to go in and name these. So we'll call this idle, I don't know how to spell, idle 1, idle 2, and I think I'm going to have 4 frames. So let's start with 2. Grabbing our, first, let's make our first layer at an opacity of 50%. And then in idle 2, this is the one we're going to animate. I'm going to grab lasso tool and carefully go in and select everything except for the legs. So you see my selection is all around the body. Command T. And up here we can select warp, or you can right click warp. So I think what I want him to do is sort of like have like a breathing motion. So I'm just going to push his head down, push his body down, deselect. And what that's going to look like is kind of like this. So with just idle 2 selected, now I'm going to go in back and edit my pixel art. Okay, cool. Change those to, well, let's make a copy again. Change this guy to 50%. So for this one, let's go back to the lasso tool, select everything but the legs. Oops. Command T, grabbing that warp. And just slightly moving him. And then fixing the eyes, fixing any weird pixels. So like right here, actually, let's see. Okay, so his legs look good there. But we lost you know, some of his outline, so we have to go in and fix that. Grabbing eyedropper tool, brush, or pencil. Oops. So now he looks like oops. Okay. I'm just clicking between the layers to view sort of the change that happens. I think what I'm going to do, grab that lasso tool. Okay. We'll call that idle 3. And let's go to Window, Timeline, Create Frame Animation. And we have 3 frames, so this will be 2, this will be 3. Oops, we have to fix 3. So essentially, creating a frame animation will be whatever layer is active. So you see on frame 1, idle 1 is active, frame 2, only idle 2 is active, and 3, only 3 is active. Let me go in and just make edits. So we'll get an idea what he looks like. Let's change all these to 0.5 seconds and we'll play. So we get sort of like a movement of his body. We can do one more. Let's add a second, let's add that idle 2 at the end. So it looks like idle 1, idle 2, idle 3, idle 2. Okay. Great. Okay. So I like what this is looking like. We can speed up certain parts. Cool. So let's export this. And we're going to export save for web, making sure it's a GIF, perpetual, no dither, yes transparency, and image size is okay. Just be mindful of your pixel size, quality, nearest neighbor. Cool. So let's save that. Let's save. Kiwi idle. Cool. And let's take a look. And we'll open it up with our browser. And there he is. I have a couple other I had another one I was playing with. Where I moved his head up and down so you saw, so there was like an idle of him sort of where it like simulates like a breathing, I suppose. Because characters aren't necessarily going to be static and unmoving if they're not being interacted with, if they're not being, commanded through the keyboard. So, consider how your character stands idle when the player is not interacting with them. So it can be as simple like their body just moves slightly, and then we'll get into the walk and other animations next.